Cartoonist Walt Disney many rejections from newspaper editors who said he had no talent. One day, a minister at a church hired him to draw some cartoons. Disney was working out of a small house infested shed near the church. After seeing a small house, he was inspired. That was the start of Mickey Mouse. Successful people don't do great things. They only do small things in a great way. By their way, manner, style, standard, skill, they are known. So, dear friends, our present Prime Minister Dr. Modi ji is well efforted in providing skills to our youngsters for the futuristic generation, for the powerful foundation of our nation, which is greatly required in our Indian youth through pranayam, yoga, dhyan, meditation, asanas. This will make them healthy, wealthy and wise. So they must improve the holistic standard and spiritual values of our nation for the betterment and upliftment of our nation and society. Successful people don't do great things. They only do small things in a great way. One day a partially deaf 4-year-old kid came home with a note in his pocket from his teacher. Your Tommy is too stupid to learn. Get him out of the school. His mother read the note and answered, my Tommy is not stupid to learn. I will teach him myself. And that Tommy grew up to be the great Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison had only 3 months of formal schooling and he was partially deaf. Henry Ford forgot to put the reverse gear in the first car he made. Do you consider these people failures? They succeeded in spite of problems, not in the absence of them, but to the outside world, it appears as though they just got lucky. All success stories are stories of great failures. The only difference is that every time they failed, they bounced back. This is called failing forward rather than backward. You learn and move forward. Learn from your failure and keep going. In 1914, Thomas Edison at age 67 lost his factory, which was worth a few $1 million, to fire. It had very little insurance. No longer a young man, Edison watched his lifetime effort go up in smoke and said, there is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burnt up. Thank God we can start anew. In spite of disaster, 3 weeks later, he invented the photograph. What an attitude! Below are more examples of the failures of successful people. Thomas Edison failed approximately 10,000 times while he was working on the light bulb. Henry Ford was broke at the age of 40. Lee Iacocca was fired by Henry Ford II at the age of 54. Young Beethoven was told that he had no talent for music, but he gave some of the best music to the world. Setbacks are the inevitable in life. A setback can act as a driving force and also teach us humility. In grief, you will find courage and faith to overcome this setback. We need to learn to become victor not victims. Fear and doubt shortcut the mind. Ask yourself after every setback, what did I learn from this experience? Only then, only then will you be able to turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone. Dear friends, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but think you don't, but think you can't, it is almost a cinch you want. If you think you will lose, you are lost. For out in the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You are God to think high to rise. You have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life is battles. Don't always go to the stronger and faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. The greatest gift in our life, what can be in the life of successful person, man of all creatures, is physically the most ill-equipped in this world. He cannot fly like a bird, can be killed by a tiny insect, cannot outrun a leopard, cannot swim like an alligator, cannot climb the tree like a monkey, doesn't have the eye of an eagle, nor does he have the claws and teeth of a wild cat. Physically, man is helpless and defenseless, but nature is reasonable and kind. Nature's greatest gift to man is the ability to think. He can create his own environment, whereas animals adapt to their environment. Sadly, very few people use the greatest gift, the ability to think, to its full potential. Failures are of two kinds: those who did and never thought, and those who thought and never did. Going through life without using our ability to think is like shooting without aiming. Life is like a cafeteria. You take your tray, select your food, and pay at the other end. You can get anything you want as long as you are willing to pay the price. In a cafeteria, if you wait for people to serve you, you will wait forever. Life is like that too. You make choices and pay the price. Life is full of choices and compromises. There is a contradiction here. If life is full of choices, where is the question of compromises? Remember, even a compromise is a choice. Let's evaluate this. How is life full of choices? When we eat too much. Dear friends, when we eat too much, we make a choice to be overweight. When we drink too much, we make a choice to have a headache the next day. If you drink and drive, you make a choice to risk being killed, or killing someone is an accident. When we ill-treated people, we make a choice to be ill-treated in return. When we don't care about other people, we make a choice not to be cared for by other people. Choices have consequences. We are free to make our choice, but after we have chosen, the choice controls us. We have equal opportunity to be unequal. The choice is ours. Life can be compared to a pottery maker who shapes clay in any form he wants. Similarly, we can mold our lives into any shape we want. How is life full of compromises? Life is not just party and pleasure, it is also pain and despair. Unthinkable things happen. Sometimes everything turns upside down. But bad things happen to good people. Some things are beyond control, such as physical disability and birth defects. We cannot choose our parents or the circumstances of our birth. So if the ball bounced that way, sorry. But what do we do from here? Try to take the ball and run. That is a choice we have to make. On a clear day, there are hundreds of boats sailing in all different directions in a lake. How come, even though the wind is blowing in one direction, the sailboats are going in different directions? What is the difference? It depends on the way the sail is set, and that is determined by the sailor. The same is true of our lives. We can't choose the direction of the wind, but we can choose how we set the sail. We can choose our attitude even though we cannot always choose our circumstances. The choice is either to act like a victor or a victim. It is not our position, but our disposition that determines our destiny. It takes both rain and sunshine to create a rainbow. Our lives are no different. There is happiness and sorrow. There is good and the bad, dark and bright spots. If we can handle adversity, it only strengthens us. We cannot control all the events that happen in our lives, but we can control how we deal with them. Richard Blasidan wanted to promote Indian tea at the St. Louis World Fair in 1904. It was very hot and no one wanted to sample his tea. Blasidan saw that all the other iced drinks were doing flourishing business. It dawned on him to make his tea into an iced drink, mix in sugar and sell it. He did not. He did and people loved it. That was the introduction of idea. That was the introduction of iced tea to the world. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, we can react responsibly or resentfully. Human beings are not like an acorn, which has no choice. An acorn cannot decide whether to become a giant tree or to become food for the squirrels. Human beings have choices. If nature gives us a lemon, we have a choice. Either cry or make lemonade. Qualities that make a person successful. A number of qualities are required to be a successful person. But first and foremost thing is no pain, no gain. Dear friends, you are listening the truth of life. And you all of you know that everyone has depressions, frustrations, problems in their life. But the unique solution they have with them, they can fight with them, or they can think better, nicer, finer, greater for the nation and society that will make them able to fight against all disease and evils of our society. Thanks. Nice to meet all of you. Good night to all of you.